it's time. Let's go ahead and get rolling at this point. So this is the start of a new campaign. We're going to figure out what we're playing, I guess, at this point. So, okay. So as far as coming with ideas, basically, what style of game? So think of genre of game that you were thinking of playing, essentially, that people would like to throw out there.
Well, it looks like James had rolled up a rabbit rogue, and I was like, that looks like Feywild to me. So I rolled up a draft fairy bard, but I'm not attached to that. If we decide we want to do steampunk or something else.
I could do
I
Feywild in the realm that I've created a werewolf barbarian, and so I could come from like the darker side of the Feywild.
That's fine.
Sounds like fun.
You could always be unseelie, and basically there's all sorts of monsters in the unseelie. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know that I was thinking of doing like a Victorian Gothic style,
Yes,
Huh?
that would work too.
As long
okay,
as
well we
there's
can still
rabbit.
have
like Bloodborne-esque type stuff.
Not
Okay.
really familiar with that.
But yeah, that would also work if it was like all this unseelie stuff.
As long as I get to be a rabbit, I don't care.
All right. As far as time period is concerned, are we interested in the like typical high fantasy or like magic punk or like Victorian modern or like gothic noir? It's like
Gothic noir sounds like fun, but that's just my opinion.
All of those sound perfectly fine, because they all are things that I haven't really had a chance to experience.
I think I've read a
I'd
fair
be
amount
fine.
of all of those, but I haven't ever done a campaign in anything except I did that Jack of the Ripper one, but that was
I would be
okay.
fine with just about all of them because I can shape my character to whatever we need.
Yeah,
All right, so let's just do Victorian, like mystic Victorian, I guess, basically, because we still have to have magic, right? Because we're
Of course.
this is
yeah.
Wouldn't be fun without the magic.
I want to be the rabbit that got away from the hat.
that's great.
That sounds like fun.
That's awesome.
That makes sense. All right, so we're doing mystic Victorian. Okay, so sort of think of penny dreadful names for your characters, effectively, like dime store novel type of names, and then let's see here. What else? Let's see here. Monster hunting or detective agency or let's see. World War One S intrigue. Any of those sound interesting?
I'm not so interested in World War One. Monster hunting is always good, and detective agency sounds interesting. And I think they also
Like
did some.
spies and private eyes is like a common Victorian theme, as well as
Yeah.
like being a detective is like a very Victorian, common Victorian theme, essentially. So
Mhm.
like
Subterfuge.
think Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot or
I just watched
Uh,
Murder on the Nile the other night with my parents.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoy a good mystery.
Was that the new one that they just did with Gal
Yeah.
Gadot? No, it looked like
Yes.
it
Well,
was good.
new movie. Book's been out for forever.
Well, it's a remake movie too because they've done
Yeah.
the movie before too.
Yes,
But
it's
it's
true.
okay. It's okay.
But
I
Christie's
think
the
we
always
could
funny
good.
very
thing about
easily.
like Miss Marple or Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot is like
Mhm.
as soon as you see them arrive, you should run away because someone's going to die and it
Yep.
might be you.
Absolutely.
These people are worse than the plague.
So I
Death
would say,
follows them around for plot conveniences.
Lawrence,
Combining
Okay, so
would you
are we
enjoy
investigation and
that?
monster hunting would be good.
Because I want something that Lawrence enjoys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Lawrence, you need to have a say in this too.
No, I just run games that people have fun in, and that is what I get enjoyment out of. So it's like, all right. So I'm just saying a good dynamic conflict is usually like countries at war, basically, or a spy or a cold war are all good, basically foundations for a campaign, right? So
Yeah,
that there's an enemy out there and they are out to get us. So is usually an excellent way of an excellent like dynamic axis for conflict in a game. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm pitching that.
Hmm.
So I like the Prussian Germany like or we have like Rasputin running a secret basically or secret cult organization out of Russia. Those are all like, or you could have Count Dracula basically having a cult of like spies and private eye vampires. These are all various things that I can run. So
I mean, I'm not super versed in any of this, so all of it seems like a breath of fresh air to me, at least.
Honestly,
here,
having like
yeah.
a Victorian style World War One would be interesting. I definitely would like to explore Eldritch Horror on top of this as well.
Oh, well, that's always a given.
Hell yeah, that's always fun.
So we could have Call of Cthulhu style Eldritch horror. That's another common theme from the 1800s, essentially.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because we don't know much, we assume essentially that all things basically that go bump in the dark basically are uh, unexplained things must come from mysterious sources, and of course in Cthulhu universe they do.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Eldritch Horror. What is that?
Oh.
You know H.P. Lovecraft?
Um,
You know Bloodborne?
no.
Okay.
It's like a style of horror where aliens and fish monsters and the elder gods and everything's mysterious and there's conspiracies and everybody's gonna die pretty much.
The main theme of Eldritch horror, the horror behind Eldritch horror is realizing how insignificant you are compared to something like Cthulhu that is so powerful and all encompassing that it's just you are nothing. And that's what the horror aspect of it is.
It's kind of like
That's
also
pretty cool.
existential horror as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
because
exactly what I was.
Lovecraft was phobic about everything. You know, anybody who
Yes.
wasn't like him from his particular part of New England, and so he was just like horrified at anything that might be different, and it really rang truly in his work.
Writing.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool.
Okay, so fair enough. So we're Victorian, and some themes that we might throw in there are Eldritch horror or pre-wartime intrigue. Is there anything else people would like in the game? Uh, do you want a story-based game as opposed to a sandbox game like we ran last time? So
I wouldn't mind story, or at
I
least
definitely would
a
You
bit
have
more
great
story.
enjoy more
stories,
story.
so yeah, I'm fine with that.
I definitely like story.
okay, so we're gonna story-based. So there's gonna be a reason for what you do, essentially. So and probably an eventual like a main storyline. So what's the main goal basically of your group essentially? Uh so we're in a pre-wartime setting. Do you want to I know this is an awful question to ask at the very beginning of the campaign, but what are some short-term goals for your character?
Hmm.
So
Do you want us to have
I
knives?
want to rid the world of evil. I want to basically find my sister. I want to become rich. I want to become famous. So these are all
Left a-
reasonable goals the character.
Do you want one now, or are you just saying like think about them?
Think about it. Think of basically what your short-term goals and long-term goals are, because that's how actual stories are driven, right?
Yeah,
Your
yeah, yeah.
characters have goals, and you're trying to achieve them. It's like so.
I know if we go more of like an investigative style, like trying to find something that's like happened in your past, or just trying to figure out like help people figure out what kind of monsters have been plaguing them, either taking care of them or just trying to stop it or something
A
like that.
paracausal typewriter.
Yeah.
All right, and then let's think.
Can we
I
have
know
some?
everybody likes start in this
Can we
group likes starting at third. Are we going to start at third, or are we going to start at first?
let's start at
I
third.
Yeah, first being that fragile at first is never pleasant, especially for the squishier classes.
And I just wanted
I'd
to
say
say that
third.
if we want to have any Dirk Gently's detective agency stuff in here, I'm a fan of that.
Okay, very good.
He fits in any time frame because he time
That
ops.
is good.
Because he was there with Coleridge, right? When he wrote Kubla Khan? I think he was.
Yes, that's right.
Do you want to give us any feats or any limits on money or stuff?
Okay, so everybody will start out with. Okay, so we'll start off in a fantasy London because you're all Victorian always starts out in fantasy London somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so everybody will start off with like 200 pounds to their name, which will effectively be our gold pieces for all intents and purposes.
Mm-hmm.
You and other than that, normal equipment for now, and we'll figure out what else. Now that being said, since this is Victorian era, you can replace your crossbow with like a revolver or something along those lines. So if you want a gun, you can have a gun. So
Mm-hmm.
Still doing point buy on the stats.
yeah, let's go ahead and do point buy. Either use stat array or point buy.
Alrighty.
Is that 26? What is the point by?
I think it is 26 is the
Okay.
normal start for point buy,
Okay.
and your stats all start at 8, I believe.
Yep.
D&D Beyond
has
doesn't.
D&D Beyond has a tab for that, so you just
Mm-hmm.
select
Yeah,
point buy.
literally just new character, point buy, and it does the math for you.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do that.
When it comes to this group. Oh, I know.
Okay,
Huh?
so
Weird.
okay, Gothic usually means it has a somewhat darker tone. Are we gonna assume the basically harsher recovery rules, or are we gonna keep with the normal D&D recovery rules?
I would like to keep normal, if a little. I don't want the thing we had 2 campaigns ago in the Realm Hopper one, where it's like we had to take a week. I don't want that. If you want to have like a little bit harsher or like more intense combat that like pushes us more, but we still have normal recovery rules, that is what I would prefer at least. I can't speak for everyone, obviously.
Yeah, I felt like it made me way too cautious about my resources because I thought we might go 3 or 4 sessions without a long rest.
Exactly. That's what I don't like. I
Yeah.
like the power fantasy of being able to actually do something with my class, not having to strain myself over multiple sessions.
Like if I make a mistake, I won't be kicking myself for 3 weeks for it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I
Okay.
did.
I mean, obviously, there will be times when we're in situations where resources are strained, but still being able to have a long rest and then just get everything back would be beneficial
Okay, fair
if
enough.
we're able to find a place for that.
And yeah, Ricky, Bardlock is fine. Just
Especially with Eldritch Horror, he easily could find a Warlock patron of some sort.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and play a altruistic character this time.
Whatever boats your float, man.
all right. So you
I
can
know
have
what I
a
said.
celestial patron. That's perfectly fine.
Oh,
All
hey Lawrence,
right.
just
Okay. So sort of cosmetology and world building. I'm sorry, cosmology and world building, not cosmetology. So are there? Yes. Let us make the world pretty. And let's. So the
pretty grim.
Okay, so what do people want as far as religion and gods in this world? Are
Perfect
we
timing.
still
That's
looking
actually what I was
at
about to mention.
pantheon of gods, or are we looking at a lot of monotheism? So culturally, what does this world look like?
I had the idea, and I proposed this to Clancy just a few minutes ago. Is Diablo style, just angels and demons, but like various factions and players within them. But it's obviously like very one-dimensional with two sides, like good and bad. But that's just one aspect. If anyone else has the other ideas, I'm happy to listen.
I vote for biblically accurate angels because those are eldritch horrors in itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. Essentially, people worship basically angels and devils. Put it that way. And
I
and you
worship
might have your
El.
own private angel or devil. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I worship El Ara, the Black Rabbit of Death.
Oh,
Very good.
Yeah, if that's what if that's all we want to go with, and we want to just
Hello.
explore the depth of that one dimension, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't want to take all the credit for. Yeah, this is the religion we're using. Like, if anyone else has any ideas, I'm open to them.
Saying this is just like the cosmology of the world, essentially.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
like the basis of what people believe in your world.
Yeah.
Okay,
like Good
okay,
Omens.
so Victorian can obviously
It's a great show.
like what is a normal person's like in this Victorian world, essentially? Is it generally sort of like on the up and up? Is it hopeful? Or is it downtrodden?
How bloodborne do we want to make
or
this?
That's a good question.
Or do people just sort of live normal lives and then the unusual? And how often does unusual stuff happen to normal people?
Hmm.
And how, like, on that note, on the note of because
Of
this
course,
will
you're
influence.
exceptional people, so unusual stuff happens to you all the time. But how often does it happen to normal people?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how in this vein, how active are supernatural forces in the lives of normal people? Like, is Strahd coming into town to murder and kidnap people a daily thing, or is it like a major plot point that spurs action?
I think it's like everybody's heard of supernatural stuff happening, but the common person probably won't experience anything more than a slight disturbance because there's
Okay.
supernatural creatures everywhere. But on a day-to-day basis, it's like
They
the
don't
talk of
intrude in the lives of
in,
yeah.
Okay,
in a
so for
small
the
town.
most
It's talk.
part, basically, because everybody worships angels and devils, I could assume we're in a serpent. We're like typical Victorians. Everybody's superstitious, but in reality, not many people actually encounter the actual supernatural.
Yes,
Right.
that sounds any
Or if they
sounds
do,
good to me.
they just blame it
That sounds
on
good
the
to me.
normal angel demon thing.
Or oh, it must have been the wind.
Yeah, like
It must have been the wind, essentially.
to throw
Uh,
back to our
Miss
Gods and
Matt.
Monsters campaign, it'd just be like the mist.
Okay.
Just like normal explanation for whatever happens.
Okay.
My
And then
roommate
where
is
do you
definitely
guys where
interested.
do you want to basically already have your detective agency at this point, or do you want to form it up?
It could
Or
be like
your league of women and gentlemen, or
it.
what do you want it to be?
I think not all of us know each other, but then like maybe we're part of different investigative groups, and then
Or
someone calls us together, and
Mhm.
Or
we have
we could
to
all be loosely
work.
connected via
yeah, like
different
Yeah, we're
means.
Okay,
loosely
if you want to
affiliated.
be loosely connected, that's fine. Do you want a patron or do you not want a patron?
patron as in like someone who funds the company, or patron as in a client that we're working on.
I'm saying
Both.
like an overarching patron that you work for on the regular. So,
Wouldn't hurt to have a handful of those, just to have like plot options, I guess.
I think it'd be interesting to have like us come here to meet with our patron. Like he's our new, like we're newly being hired by this person to investigate several happenings that have been going on.
Like a mayor or a lord in a castle that is like
Yeah.
he's elderly but he's got resources.
The
I don't know, I'm just
nobility.
thinking out loud here.
Yeah.
Aristocracy.
Hmm.
okay. Well, I guess that's actually more than enough for me to get started with. Essentially, if we'd like to play tonight, we can go and do so. Just everybody let me know. If you have characters ready at this point. So we'll start at third level and we'll go from there.
Oh, one question I have, Lawrence. Do you know about the Echo Knight fighter from Critical Role?
Yeah, you can be an Echo Knight. That's just perfectly
I
fine.
literally only want 3 levels of it, and the rest is going to be Barbarian. I'll even like I'll send my the thing I have. I just wrote a quick Google Doc for you, just as brief as possible, just like sum up
Familiar with how it
everything.
works, essentially. You get to create an echo. It has to be relatively short range to you, and you can attack from its position or your position, or you can transpose with your
Yep.
buddy. And it has like horribly shitty hit points. So, but you can summon it again.
Oh, it has like 1 hit point. Yeah, exactly. It's more like an extra bonus action in a way.
I was also trying to working on a different version of the Blood Cleric.
Okay.
So when I'm almost done with that. I was going to share it with you. I'm almost done with it. I needed advice on tweaking a few things. Got it. I just haven't back in fixed it.
Yeah, and I think I did it like a fairy bard, which isn't going to fit in this, so I'm going to need to come back and redo that. I may need a Dirk Gently character. I'll have to try and figure out what he is.
What do you call it? So like just 3 levels of fighter, and then the rest of it's gonna be like barbarian, and I was also thinking werewolf. And then I'm just gonna run what do you call it? Ancestral Guardian for like a tank spec, and then I have all this extra flavor in this one weapon. All the things you need to OK Lawrence are just in the weapon.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Be
magic
fine.
items. What kind of magic item situation do we want to start with?
No magic items to start with. So
Okay.
you can have you could have bought potions essentially with your money, but potions and antidotes, but that's the extent essentially. If you're a spellcaster, you might have bought some scrolls.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a feat?
I have 2
If
feet.
you're a varied human, I guess you can have a feat, but otherwise, no.
Okay. I had to ask. And I did catch that, Ryan.
Which Ryan?
The Ryan that said he had 2 feats.
That was a dumb joke about feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. Thank you.
How many feet? What if he has a peg leg?
Then you only have 1 feet.
I think Ryan needs a peg leg character now, just because.
How would that
Well,
work?
let's see here. If you still want to play a fairy tree,
Yeah.
essentially, you could play a fairy like out of like what are they? Amazon's Carnival Row, where fairies are like
Ooh,
human
yeah.
sized.
Yes.
Amazon
Didn't they make
Carnival.
a
Okay, hang on. Amazon Carnival Row, because I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, it's
So
an
it's an
Amazon
Amazon
series.
original video. It's called Carnival Row. But all the fairies are like human sized, and they're so what is it? Tirnanog basically gets destroyed by something. I think there's a war or something, and the fairies get driven out of their ancestral homeland and become refugees in London.
It's great.
That does sound interesting. I'll check it
It's a
out.
pretty good series.
Yeah, I was yeah, it might be good anyway, but I may have something else that would be a better fit for this, and I'll do a fairy another time when I got a Feywild thing going on. It's
Something
okay.
to binge while you're recovering.
Oh.
I'm currently binge watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I don't have a TV in my room. I don't have a couch anymore. I have a love seat, and it isn't long enough to
Oh.
stretch out on. And my TV is not in there. My TV is in my office where I can recline, but that doesn't really work. So it's some things I just don't like to watch on the phone, right? Because it wants a big screen. So I'm really not watching that much TV. Sorry to whine. It's okay.
I'll get the cheese.
I just moved. It's gonna be better. It's just not there yet.
You just moved and you're still recovering from a surgery, so
Oh yeah. Well, plus it was like 2 weeks of like crazy pain before they decided, oh, you have a hernia.
Mhm.
Your insides have started to become your outsides.
They did, but they thought it was a UTI, and they thought it was a gallbladder, or it was an appendix, or maybe I was just hysterical, or like it was one of those.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm
I don't
glad
know
that,
what that's like, but I have parents that kind of know what that's like, so I empathize with you.
yeah. Ask your mom; she knows. but it's good. So it's fixed now. It's just that I have to get over the surgery. And today I was walking through the family room in the dark, and I think the dog that I'm keeping fell over my dog, and the two of them got into a dog fight in the dark. So the black dog with the black um, collar was on top, and I managed to reach down and grab a hold of the collar and lift him off of the other dog. But I'm not supposed to lift over 10 pounds. And I think
And I
this
don't.
was
Those don't sound like chihuahuas
Yikes.
or
no,
corgis.
like probably 70 pounds each. So,
Yep.
and then I think I twisted my knee too. But like, I can't tell my mother because she'll say, "What?" So it doesn't matter how old you get, you still can't tell your mother this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I know how it goes.
I'm just saying I'm 60 and I still don't want to tell my mother, no, I had this dog in the house. Now I've hurt myself. Okay, so those of you who know kind of what your character's going to be, James, you've got a rabbit that's an evil rabbit. Is what?
No, he's not an evil rabbit. He
He's not.
worships the rabbit, black rabbit of death.
Okay, I'm
And
sorry.
death is
How
not
not
necessarily
And
evil?
it's
Okay.
not a bad it's not bad death. It's like everybody dies, and it's the black rabbit's job to
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
help
basically
them
Raven
get
Queen, but
from their
Victorian
life
themed.
to their place in afterlife.
Okay, kind of like Terry Pratchett death. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. I'm just trying to see what kind of like if I think of it in general D&D terms, what kind of a character there is a hole in the party that I should
Oh,
fill.
exactly. I'm gonna be like Lawrence. If I know you got to set up the world itself, I would be happy to like help everyone coordinate characters and help fill roles. I no offense to anyone who's here, but I don't know how many people are gonna be sticking around. Heck, I might like last time. I might be leaving like the week before we actually start session one. So no judgment, but like the more variety we have, the better.
Well, I saw somebody had created a level 3 cleric and I was like, it would be really nice to have a cleric on this. And then I don't think we had a bard finally for the first time in a long time, and that was kind of nice. So I thought, well, maybe we need a bard. So that was why I rolled up a bard. Um, but I could do something else. And it sounds like a rabbit's a rogue, and then Ryan, um, what was your character?
I have werewolf martial fighter
Okay.
is the short of it with strength base because I've not played a strength based character in the entire like all of the times we except if you want to count my paladin, but
Okay.
I
I've got that like tap dancing centaur barbarian, but I have never played a rogue or a um, bard or a ranger.
ranger sounds like it could be useful.
It seems like it's a lot of whether you're flanking and what kind of cover you have, and frankly, it just doesn't sound that exciting. But maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
I'm looking to play Tabaxi Artificer.
Sounds good to me.
You make cat toys.
And I think that was a ballista, right? From what I saw in the sheet, an artillerist.
I was thinking Battlesmith.
Okay, okay.
To make a cat cannon.
I had a good
I'm
time
back.
with that artificer last time. I think I can recommend that. And then Ryan too. What were you thinking for your guide? Do you have some thoughts on it?
But tied between a fighter and a cleric.
Okay.
That sounds like a paladin.
Did we have somebody that had picked a cleric? Somebody had something. Let me go look at what's going on.
I would like to not have to be a cleric for 2 campaigns in a row, please.
Yeah, that's
So,
kind of what I was thinking. Okay, who is Avani Mensis? Somebody created that as a cleric blood healer.
Oh, that's
That's
Clancy.
me.
Oh, okay. So that would be our healer. Is that what you're thinking?
Um, kind of, but she's probably going to be more damage based. My roommate's going to join voice because he's really interested in it now.
Oh, cool.
Okay, sounds good.
So maybe we need a couple of different characters that have some levels of healing, because I think that Lawrence has more fun throwing a bunch of damage at us when we have the ability to not die from it too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So it behooves us to do some healing, because then he can actually have more fun.
Okay. Well, keep in mind, Victorian and Gothic settings also have a lot more social interaction, so I'm probably going to come up with more complex social rules than roll a persuasion roll.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
social combat.
god! I have Asperger's and we're gonna do social situations. It's like,
Woo! Autism gang.
oh my
Yeah, I'm in the
god!
same boat.
Squirrel.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I was thinking, vampire royalty might be different than normal royalty. Like they try to set themselves apart, but then they still intermingle.
Well, so I think it might be interesting to have the vampire kingdoms or a vampire country out there somewhere. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know Clancy's really wanted to play a vampire for a long time, so I will put my trauma aside and try to get over it.
That would be fun because then we could have really interesting NPCs pop up from the old country.
Yeah.
is Envy actually going to be a vampire or no?
She's yes. I chose Dampier.
Okay. All right. So you're half vampire.
Yes.
You have a sire, or are you of the true-blooded race?
I think it's more that. Yeah, like an actual race instead of.
Okay,
These.
so you're of the true-blooded. You are not
Yeah.
a maid vampire. All right.
Yes.
Hello, all.
Hello.
This is my roommate.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
All right,
roommate.
let me get this down.
Hey.
I've been listening in while playing the show, and it was too interesting not to jump in.
Yay.
All right. Very cool.
Can I do this?
I hear Bloodborne-esque or TTRPG, and I'm sold.
Sounds good to me.
Alright, so I chose Paladin.
Okay. Fair enough.
Eladrin Elf. Paladin.
Hey Ryan, not that you would know this far in advance. You plan on playing your paladin more charisma or more strength, or both? Obviously, you can do both. Just I'm making graph here, and
Right now, kind of both, but I'm more leaning towards wisdom. Charisma?
charisma.
Why put wisdom?
Charisma. Paladins don't need, in air quotes, wisdom. Never hurts to have, but not main stat. Of course, don't let me metagame your characters. I'll make your characters whatever you want.
Yeah, I just realized that the spell ability is charisma, not a wisdom.
Also, Ricky, you might want to change your Discord name because you are no longer a rogue ranger.
I'm trying to remember where we clicked to change it in the server, but not elsewhere.
Oh, you right click your what do you call it?
You right-click your
Server
name, then change
profile.
nickname.
Okay, there
Yeah.
we go. Okay, there we go.
So yeah, I'm leaning more towards strength-based.
Okay.
Well, I'll pencil you in for both.
Yeah. I got
Which you
12.
should, because they are extremely dependent on strength and charisma.
Or hypothetically speaking, you could also go Dex Charisma. Like, Charisma is what's universal about Paladin. Your damage output comes from either Strength or Dex.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you limit yourself with Dex?
I've just read that apparently Dex Paladins can be a thing. Like, instead of using a Strength weapon, you use a Dex weapon, apparently. That's just what I've read when I played my Sorkadin a while back, but, I still went with Strength.
I'll check out that fairy thing, Lawrence. Thanks for putting that up. But I also like if it's sort of detective-ish, I'm like such a fan of Dirk Gently that I'm thinking like maybe that needs to come in here. So I was sort of thinking about a bard, which would be a charisma character, which sounds sort of like chaotic Dirk sort of thing. So maybe that's what I need to do. What do you think, Ryan? Does that fit the balance of the
Um,
party? Okay.
Ricky is already playing a Bard Warlock, so I'm
Okay.
not saying no. I'm saying talk with Ricky. Also, who was it that said they
I
were going to be an artificer?
That was me.
My apologies, but who is me? I don't
Ah,
know
sorry.
names.
I am Magic Cat.
And who is Ricky?
Ricky is Asgul from
Previously
last
as
from
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
I was Dredges. That
Okay.
helps.
Yeah, so you are now Cheshire?
Yes.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, let me see if I can think of something else Dirk could be. Um, cause I picked a bard, and created a character before I even came in. So.
Mm-hmm. Alright, that's the roster as it's looking right now. Still don't have anything from Tombstone, but that's fair since you just sort of showed up. And Tree, you're still working out what you are going to pick.
Right, because I had picked a bard, but it sounds like Ricky wanted a bard too, so we'll have to sort that
Ricky's
out.
playing a mixed bard warlock. If you wanted to
Exactly. So
play a
you
flat bard, that would be perfectly acceptable and be quite supportive for the rest of the team based on which type of bard you want to choose.
absolutely, yeah. And Bard is so diverse, you could fit any role. Bard is arguably as varied as Cleric is, if not more. Like that's Bard's thing is being able to do anything.
Yeah, with Dirk, I figured there would be like some illusion stuff and a lot of quirky things and some irrational things and sort of pulling rabbits out of the hat sort of stuff. I thought maybe lore, College of Lore.
Yep, that would be a great call.
Okay, I'll look into it. And maybe, Ricky, maybe you and I can look at our spell lists and make sure that we're supporting each other and not overlapping.
Yeah, I was picking. I was gonna go College of Lore so I can get the cleric's healing spell, and then my warlock is from the
So yeah,
celestial, so they get healing as well.
yeah, that actually sounds pretty good as like a support class,
And
Ricky.
then, yeah,
Okay, well then I'll go and look and see what else is going on. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
mean,
we're
it
not
never
even
hurts to
starting.
double up on anything.
That is true. That is true. As of right now, we are pretty well balanced. So I won't. I got no complaints about anyone like like double dipping or doubling down.
Now we don't have a wizard type person. That was the
We
other
have
thing I was.
I am actually making a wizard currently, if that's alright.
And who was that?
Clancy's
Tombstone.
roommate.
Oh, great, great.
I
'Cause
will
didn't
call
have
you
that down.
Tombstone for now. If you would like to be called anything else,
That is
let
perfectly
me know.
fine with me.
You're a giant frozen pizza.
So I've been taking
You
notes.
know, he knows.
So Tombstone, as we go along, I ask questions, and it sounds like I'm a dumb blonde, but actually I'm taking notes so that we can tell what we were doing later. So that's why I keep asking questions about what are you doing? Why? Okay.
No, as soon as you were talking, I literally just chose wizard, so it kind of
Okay.
works out.
Yeah. So okay. So we got an intelligence. We got an artificer and a wizard, and we got bard and warlock, and we've got a rogue, and we've got a clericish, and then Ryan's
Hey,
a paladin. Yeah.
hey, Tree,
Well?
just hear me out here. The one thing, like, Ricky already has some healing, so if the one thing I'm thinking of is we're missing, like, I'm the most quote-unquote nature we have in the party being, like, a werewolf that is, like, barbarian with, like, nature. If anything, a ranger or a druid with wisdom and a little bit extra healing probably wouldn't hurt. And, of course, whatever blasting damage output you want to bring to the party.
Okay.
Like, just on paper, that's what my power gaming is, like, looking at right now. Like, that's the biggest quote-unquote hole we have, even though we're still very well-rounded. That's, like,
What was I doing?
we're not
I
even
was
lacking.
doing-
We're not lacking at it, but it's the one thing that's, like, I don't know, we have less of than the other things. We already got a lot of charisma, we got a lot of intellect, we got a lot of strength, so dex and wisdom is where I'm not going to say lacking, because we're not, but, like, you know what I mean.
I don't want to be a druid in London.
And of course, you could easily be a bard that covers one of those two fields. Like, Don't let me. I'm giving you the tactical analysis. Don't let me tell you how to flavor your character.
Well, and I may need to just I may need to.
You're also high as a kite right now.
Multi-class. I'm very
That
high as a
too.
kite, which is why I'm taking nights and recording. But I also may need to just multi-class.
That works too. Yeah.
When in doubt, you know.
All right then. So yeah, the party is looking fairly well balanced.
Are there any like characters that we would like to try and run into? You know, we talked about some literary things like Hercule Poirot, or however you say his name, and Sherlock Holmes
Poirot.
and Poirot. Yeah, I'm always really bad with that one. So, Miss Marple's easier to say, isn't she? So, are there any characters that we'd like to run into in Victorian London that we would like to put in a request for?
Don't have any specific request.
I want a magic hat that works like a wand of wonder.
I don't know what a wand of wonder does, but it sounds cool.
Got
It
like
is
a percentile
random.
table.
It's the wild magic surge table and a wand. It's pretty much
Oh god.
Wild magic tables. Oh my god, so much fun.
No.
Yeah, one of my other characters has mimic arrows in one of my campaigns, and it's crazy, pretty much. A little over OP. Just got super quiet.
I think everybody's thinking
Everybody's
about their
looking at their
character.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go and do my point buy. See, I'm gonna. Now the Avani, the cleric blood healer, that's a wisdom character, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the wizard as an intelligence character. So I'm thinking, like, I don't know how much we need the druid if we've got the cleric.
Well, not to diss Clancy or anything, but like, what if we don't like Clancy doesn't show up one night for whatever reason?
Okay. Well, I think we need to have a lot of healing with a lot of people. I agree with that.
So for as far as healing, we have
I got healing as well.
other
But
Ryan
bards
is
have
paladin.
healing too. I mean, it isn't
You got
just druids.
we got paladin, cleric, and Ricky's bard warlock. So that's at least 3 sources of some form of healing. I don't know how much you want to dip into like being a dedicated healer, Ricky. Not gonna pigeonhole you, but that's kind of seems at least like partially what you're going for.
I can do that if you guys want. I just need help because I am not a min-maxer.
I think that nobody needs the responsibility of keeping us all alive because having
Oh,
done
exactly.
that, it makes it difficult to do anything else in the game. And if there's several of us doing it, then I think we'll be more successful and everybody can relax and have fun. So I think it's better to spread it out, honestly. I felt strongly when I came in, like on level 10 with you guys, and you'd already lost 2 or 3 characters, that it was like I was really trying not to lose anybody in the rest of that campaign.
Yeah.
And I think you felt that with the last one, Ryan, didn't you? Like,
Little bit,
yeah,
little bit.
little pressure there. God, I got cut in half. Like we had a lot of damage last campaign. I think it's going to be more emotional scoring on this next one. It's going to be all
It was
psychic
great.
damage.
I loved it.
I need to go and look for characters that are resistant to psychic damage. Is what I need to do. Oh, something that where I've got proficiency for intelligence saves.
I never know how to put my link in here.
Oh, to get in an operate, you do exclamation, and then import, and then space, and then that link from D&D Beyond. Because I had to go look it up. Okay.
Is that something I have to download?
Okay, so in D&D Beyond, when you go to do your sheet, it'll say next step. Let me find it. Okay, what's next? And then
Start
view
start
character sheet.
start with, do you have D&D Beyond?
Good point.
Yes. I got the free stuff, and I purchased some books.
So you're allowed to have like two characters.
I
Or
think six, but yeah.
Yeah,
Six
six for
characters.
free.
Oh, and then we're going to want to have it in the campaign too, right? Yeah, so I'm going to be quiet and let you tell him that because I'm too drugged up.
I'm gonna get the campaign link and put it in the chat.
Good plan.
I got you.
There it is.
Thank you again, James.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. That's been huge.
Just be sure to pull out your old characters for your new characters so that there's room for everybody.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. You can like join a campaign, set up all the characters and pick the options, and then leave the campaign, and if you don't change anything, it all stays in the same place.
Well, and the thing is, James has bought a lot more books than I have. So I actually like to sort of get started creating it and then pull it into his campaign so that sometimes I get more options because he's got more
Exactly.
books. Right? But then I save a copy of it on my thing so that like Mina, I downloaded a copy of her PDF sheet from when it was in James's, and then I went ahead and pulled it out.
No, how do I? Oh wait, I can.
So if you click on that link, it'll bring up a tab that says, "Do you want to join this campaign, and you scroll down and choose one of the characters that you've already created, or you can add a new character and just build from there. And while you're in the campaign, you'll have access to all of my books, which is pretty much all of the books. So it'll make fleshing out your character a little bit more interesting. And because I've got the campaign linked to this channel in Discord, when you roll in Discord, it'll post the roll into Discord as well. Or when you roll on D&D Beyond, it'll post it in Discord as well.
Did I do it right? I clicked my character and hit join, I think. Krishana, I see them right there with active
Yep,
characters. Okay, I'm
Krishana's
looking.
in there.
Okay, so yeah, that I got the she's rough draft still, but yeah, that's the one I'm gonna go for.
I don't like that name.
Oh, wait, I have to go back. Okay, yeah, so I got her done enough to where we can roll with her. Unless we're still doing session 0.
I think getting our characters figured out right now and then playing next work well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's
so
fine.
too. Okay, so now.
See, what was the one I had her as? No.
What is that noise?
Yeah, I hear it too, and I'm just like, what is that?
Sounds like wind.
Yeah.
I think it's somebody's fan. Clancy, is that your name?
That is not Clancy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Clancy's mic, essentially. Just needs to put a bit of like wind cover over his mic.
Sorry about that. It was like in the
It's all good.
Hundred 105.
I need to find one of those tourist maps of London that has all the sights and stuff to see. In Disneyland, cartoonesque, cartoony, basically,
Mm-hmm.
like iconography. That would help me out a lot. Let's see.
I may need to be a halfling. Because if I'm a fairy, I'm not going to be able to fly in this. So that's the whole reason to have a fairy. I think I'll.
I'm saying you can still fly just fine. So
Okay, really? Okay. People just wouldn't believe I was flying.
no, I'm saying like if we're gonna be like Mystic London, there are still gonna be
Hmm.
mystic elements about. They just sort of keep to themselves. So,
Okay. All right, I'll think about that.
yep.
Wait, I got that twice.
If I actually pull over the Carnival Row piece, that would make some sense for you as a fairy. Then there'd be a part of town that was basically that would be the fairy hovel where or the fairy ghetto where the Fae basically are required to keep to themselves.
Aw.
So, question for using like pistols for this, am I just like reskinning at my crossbow, or am I using the
You are
actual?
reskinning crossbows. We're not going to add extra damage because I think we've discussed that with this group before. It's like they prefer not to have the extra lethality of guns doing more damage.
All right, just had to check.
Yep. Now that being said, just like because like if you encounter a cannon, that's still a bad news. But that's like getting fireballed to the face. But it's like the
Yeah. As much as we get
like normal
shot.
normal firearms are gonna be like crossbow damage. Yeah. Okay, does everybody at least have their character concept, and we'll just do a quick introduction for 30 minutes, and then we'll call it quits for today.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, I
Okay.
do at least.
Okay. All right. The foggy streets of London are thick with smog. The House of Lords has put a sanction against the burning of dung and coal, but it does little to alleviate the constant gray fog that surrounds London these days. Uh, People are covering their face with wetted cloths, and ladies and their children are scurrying from one indoor place to another, lest the vapors take them. Uh, the Hazel is has his hat pulled down over his head and just like keeping to himself. Uh, the local thugs often pick on the Fey folk that live in the ghettos at this point. But okay, is Tree? Are you actually going to be Fey or no?
I don't think I want to be a ghetto person, so I was thinking if I do Dirk Gently and it's all about luck, I may be a halfling.
Okay,
But
so fair enough.
but
And
if but
then,
I am on drugs, so I'll let you know later this week when I'm
all
dried
right,
out about that. Mhm.
and you can see your Tar Wolf companion, which is Ryan's character. Like someday he'll figure out basically how to hide his wolfish features, but for now, essentially, they are prominent as the nose on his face, which is more of a snout at the moment. Like, at this point, you figure you should head over to the Brown Bess. It's about that time of night. There will be other freelancers there, and there will be work for to be had for all. As each of you, for your own various reasons, are headed to the Brown Bess in the Southwark district. So the southeast portion of London effectively the ghettos. This is the place where various immigrants, both Jewish and Irish, and the Fae have congregated at this point. Tirnanog, the Mystic Land, supposedly had fallen due to the great conquest of the British Empire, but now their endless rabble basically washes up on shore in waves. And but Where there is adversity, there is opportunity. Uh, you all arrive at the Brown Bess. It's a raucous atmosphere. There's a fiddler and a whole band playing in the corner. The a particularly petite looking is that a girl or is that a halfling? It's hard to tell. It's dancing on a table barefoot. It's like definitely dressed like she came from the north, perhaps from Tirnanog or maybe just Ireland to the north. Let's see here. Where's my NPC list here? Everybody can see Johnny Lords, the one of the heads of the gangs, the Lord's Men, essentially, also known as one of the the more influential gangs here in the South Wards. It's like, come on, ladies, lasses, come up, come up. Essentially, if you're looking for work, Johnny Lords has leads, has tasks that need to be done. Essentially, you, you rabbit folk, and you halfling woman. Essentially, what? Come on up, come on up. You look like you're starving. What deeds are you willing to do for Mister Lords?
Well,
Introduce yourselves to me. Tell me what you can do.
depends on if you need something lifted from a place that shouldn't be lifted from.
Oh, shady type. You're in the right place. How about you, Mrs. Halflin?
I can make confusions and things happen, and then other things happen. Depends on what you want.
Your tall, dark, and gruesome wolf friend there doesn't seem to be saying any. Can you speak? No, that's Ryan. That's your Ryan one.
Oh,
That's your character.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, I
that
can
was good.
speak.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a no.
Can you
I've
guys hear
already
me?
gathered together a group of individuals, which is the rest of you at this point. You're all seated at a table. I did not hear you earlier. No.
You guys hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you now.
Yeah. Yeah, I can speak.
Well, given how tall you are, I'd hope you can do more than squeak. But here's this other half of the crew, essentially. I need you to, I need you to find out what's been happening to the fine folk of South Ward here. There's some people have gone missing over by the Thames, and their bodies have not shown up. The families have been missing them, and I, Johnny Lords, have a need to be finding out what's going on in my territory. So since you're outsiders and I don't have to worry about losing you, I'll see about paying you a handsome fee, 100. Well, actually, let's go with £50 a head for your fine efforts in figuring out what's going on. Head over to the north side of the north of Thames, essentially by the let's see here, what is that? By the Southwark Cathedral. You'll find lots of missing people there.
All right,
Do
all
I have
right.
your ears and do I have your contract?
Sounds like we have a deal.
I don't shake on these things. You're gonna have to trust me on my word. So
Oh, I'm sure you're a trustworthy fellow.
I am at that. Eat, drink, your fill. Essentially, I'll cover it for this evening. But anything else on this little job is yours to cut. Any other expenses are yours on this job to cover. Do you understand?
Fair enough. And if we should
Then I'll
come
be
across,
seeing you.
and if we should come across some interesting baubles that might be worth a bit, would you be interested in them?
He whispers down to you. Bold, aren't you? It's like we don't discuss fencing things out in public, but yes, I'll find it. I'll find you a buyer.
Fair enough. Now tip my magic hat, which has no magic in it, and head out the door.
All right. You head over to the sort of northern S loop of the River Thames. The river smells. It's like pollution from the surrounding city and sewage and just general dumping into the river gives it a sort of sludgy appearance. The You can see numerous individuals sort of congregating around the edge of the river, like either tossing stuff in or drawing water out, often in the same draw. And some of you who are a little bit more learned about hygiene are going, "That's gross." The but So there's a group of washerwomen over by a stone dock that seems to be gossiping. They washerwomen know everything. They see everything. They'll probably know what you're looking for. As you approach, okay, so who approaches and who talks?
We've got a werewolf, a fairy, and a rabbit, right?
I'm
You
saying
got
your whole team
one
is
there.
there.
Okay.
I'm saying three
So
of you had come in late, but the rest of you had already been assembled by Johnny Lords.
Okay.
Avani
Shauna's
is
just in
just going to walk up and
dancing.
tug on her dress as she is like 4 feet tall.
Avani is what race?
Damphir.
Okay, so
She is a small.
you're just petite. Okay, you're not.
Yep.
All right.
Small.
Oi, little
Weird.
lady, what can we do for you? It's like your dress looks in good order, so you don't need a washerwoman.
We were just gonna ask you some questions.
Well, we got nothing better to do than wash and gossip, so take a seat.
Uh,
Your friend's gonna join you, or are they all gonna stand there looking menacing?
turns around.
Dirk,
What were the
Rest of you are
Dirk
like,
will
questions?
come
oh,
over
we're
and
very menacing.
Dirk will come over and join. Sure.
What were the questions?
There's some people disappearing, and we'd like to find out what's happening. Have you seen anything
Uh,
interesting?
yeah, that, what
Oh,
she said.
yeah, there's lots of interesting things here on the North River. So, uh, if you want a lovely bit of pie, go talk to Sweeney's. He's just up the street. He's just set up shop. Best meat pies. It's like lovely, lovely. Uh, and uh, and then there's Edward the barber. He's best scissors in town. Make it look really nice. It's like we're all getting gentrified and noble around here. And uh, and then there's oh yeah, and then so she's just basically sort of lists down like Sweeney's and Edward's barbershop, and so she sort of lists, and then she lists what is it? Gerardo's Meat Packers, likewise, just moved into town. It's like slaughter a 10 head of cattle a day, essentially. It's like freshest meat, sweetest, freshest meat you could lay your lips upon. What Yeah, but you're looking for missing people. It's like, yeah, people go missing in the South Ward all the time. It's like it's nothing new. They go
Nothing.
home, they get lost, they get to shits and die.
So nothing particularly disturbing about the recent missing people of the South
Well,
Ward.
we only tend to get worried when we see bodies, and there's no bodies, so we just have to assume they went home or something. Like, not everybody can make a home in London. It's just for the special few.
Any of the meat vendors have a sudden influx of new fresh meat that
Well,
people
all
are
of them
talking about?
do, essentially. Didn't I tell you so?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these long ears of mine, they pick up a lot of sounds, so sometimes I get confused.
So Sweeney's has like the best meat pies that she's ever tasted. Gerardo's the butcher, a fine Italian gentleman, swarthy and handsome. Slaughters 10 heads of cattle a day, sweetest meat you've ever put your lips upon. Not that I can afford it, but so I get scraps every so often for doing some laundry. And then she talks about Edwards, which is a barber slash surgeon. It's like fix you right up if you had what ails you, as well as give you a good haircut.
And are they close to each other in any way?
Oh, she gives you the locations. They're sort of scattered about the South Ward, so they're not particularly close to each other. Sweeney's and Gerardo's as are next to the river, as you might expect, essentially because they probably need water as part of their day-to-day operations. Uh, the and Edwards is sort of like midtown as far as Southward is concerned. So he's further into the sort of the middle of Southward, and the other two are northern along the edge next to the Thames.
So the height of your gossip is the meet people in the area, and that nothing has really changed, and people just die.
Well, I don't think they're dead. We haven't seen their bodies. Uh, Hazel was the last one to go missing. Uh, Fine blonde haired lass, essentially. Fair as the heather. It's like, but uh, she had a wandering streak about her, so she was never quite satisfied to stay put where she was. So I figure she went back home to Ireland. But you may want to ask her ma. She's just over the way. She sort of like points down the street and second house on the right.
Very well. We'll take your advice and run with it. And with that, he'll tip his hat and head to Hazel's mom's house.
Okay. Does anybody actually tip these people?
Um, Dirk will.
All right. So
Oh,
you drop a couple pence into their washer bowl, and they seem to be happy with
Yeah,
that.
thank them for their interesting recommendations.
Mhm.
We'll come back when we need some laundry done.
All right.
Thank you, miss.
Oh, come on back anytime. Need anything laundered? Molly's the girl you need to ask for, and you head
I'll
over
try to
to
remember.
you head over to the second house on the right, down the street. It's a small hovel of a place, essentially hardly big enough for maybe two, three people to live. Like if they laid their head to foot. Uh, a sort of put upon older woman with what probably was like brilliant, like gold blonde hair at one point is now sort of faded into a dull golden gray. It's like she still has piercing blue eyes as for an older woman. She's wearing what could be best described as a maid's uniform, but is ragged as if she hasn't kept it up in a long time, or it's gone through like dozens and dozens of washes. Uh, Hello? It's like, I'd offer you a place to sit, but my home is very humble. What she sort of like peeks at you from a slot in the door. It's like, uh, may I know why you're calling upon me?
but of course, we heard that your daughter had recently gone missing, and we thought we'd lend a hand in trying to find her. Is there perhaps any information you might be willing to share as to where she might have gone?
She was totally infatuated with that horrible Italian gentleman, Gerardo. It's like told her not to stick around him, so they butchers smell like blood and attract devils to them. I told her to stay away, but she wouldn't be dissuaded, and now she's gone missing.
Did you say blood? I want to go there.
Butchers have, of course, have a lot of blood. I don't know what do you expect. Essentially, they're devils just hang around people that handle blood all the time. Essentially, I can't. My fair Hazel isn't any. Her may the angels bless her. I hope she hasn't fallen into league with the devils. Has been taken away basically for some horrible rite.
Yeah,
Have
that'd be bad,
you
wouldn't it?
have you a message for your daughter should we find her unharmed?
Bring her back to me unharmed if you can. It's like I don't have much, but I'll see what I can do to reward you.
That's hardly necessary, but we'll do our best.
She nods. It's like you freelancer folk are all right. It's like even though you are fairies, it's like you stand outside of the natural order of things. Like neither angel or devil will touch you, but maybe that's the best.
Indeed. Well, we will be off, and hopefully we shall find your daughter in post haste.
All right.
Now, tip his hat and head away.
All right.
Bye.
You're heading out at this point. It is really late at this point. You're getting to think you probably should call a coach back to Midtown at this point since it's like South Ward is definitely not a place you want to be hanging out like in the wee hours of the morning because bad stuff happens in South Ward. Hence the washerwoman's sort of warning that just like stuff happens, people disappear. It's like that's the way of South Ward. Uh, But Johnny Lords thinks differently. Something unusual is happening, and he's sort of like the local like baron slash underworld baron that basically keeps people safe while not breaking their legs for paying unpaid debts for not paying unpaid debts. Uh, the So you're figuring you should catch a you should catch a coach back at this point to Middle Ward. So
All right.
So we don't think
okay.
we need to do any surveillance to see if anything's going on interesting after hours for these businesses?
Well, you could, but essentially, you also figure more planning would be required. Essentially, like surveilling the spot during the day, because just wandering around here during the night is an assured way of basically getting assaulted by something you don't want to get assaulted by.
That seems quite sensible, yeah.
So you could you wave down uh, the closest Johnny Jim cab. His these black London cabs are just big enough for 5 people. As you pull into two, you pull over 2 of them, and all pile in. Where you be headed to, good sirs and misses?
Midtown for me.
And the rest of you?
That sounds appropriate.
We need to
Okay.
find room.
Yeah.
All right. Does everybody live in Midtown, or do some people actually live in South Ward? Because some of you, being Fae, could live in South Ward, for instance.
I mean, I'm
I'll be from
Faye,
South
but I'm
Ward.
part of the military.
Okay.
I'm half Dro, so I guess that'd be Faye.
Yes, that would mean you're unseelie. So yes, you would be Fae at that point. All right. So various of you have come from the lands of Tir Nanog, and you know of the downfall of Tir Nanog and why it happened, and we'll cover that in next session. So, that would include Ryan One's character essentially as being an effectively. Are you an afflicted werewolf, or are you actually of the werewolf race?
Afflicted. Actually, I used to
Afflicted,
be
okay.
human.
So you are a soldier
Looking-
that came. I'm going to say you are a soldier that basically went to the campaigns in Tir Nanog, and you have come back at this point, a changed person.
Looking for a way to sort of control this. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, Lauren, it's sort of like Worgen from World of
Yes,
Warcraft.
that's what I'm
basically.
saying. But inevitably, right now, your wolven.
Oh yeah, I'm stuck.
Your wolfish
For now-
features basically just show continuously, so
Oh yeah,
everybody
absolutely. I'm
knows
stuck.
what
I
you are.
haven't reached Darnassus. Haven't gained the ability to switch back yet.
Yes, exactly. All right. So some of you return back to Middle Ward, and some of you go to your various dwellings here in South Ward. You get those of you who are South Warders, keep to the main streets where the gas lamps still work, and definitely stay away from the darkened alleyways or the areas where the gas lamps have been deliberately knocked out. You arrive at your sort of like simple homes that are just big enough for just you and maybe a stove, and that's about it. There's a sort of simple pallet style bed over in the corner as you lay your heads to sleep and wake in the morning to sort of the grayish the grayish morning fog slash smog that pollutes the city as it's hard to tell dusk from dawn from dusk, as it just sort of seems to be this sort of like lit up perpetual gray in this particular area. You can see maybe no more than 30 or 40 feet in front of you at any given time. But the pollution doesn't seem as bad today as at least you basically don't have that itchy feeling in the back of your throat. Okay, and that's where we're going to leave it for tonight, and then we'll pick up the campaign proper next week.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Excellent beginning. Thank you, Lawrence.
this will work. This will definitely work. Sorry, I didn't like speak up. I was like in the middle of like focusing on something on my character creation. I actually do very much have a character, but we'll go next week.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. See you guys next week. And if we want to like coordinate anything, let's just try and keep an eye on the channel this week.
Oh,
Sorry,
absolutely.
I was like a bit more